I'm John Beddington. My job is that I'm the UK Government Chief Scientific Advisor, and it's quite a strange job. I report directly to the Prime Minister, and my responsibilities are really for everything to do with science and engineering in the United Kingdom. And one of the things that I've become involved in is actually thinking about how science and engineering can both better predict impending disasters, but also work out ways that we can actually make communities, and in this case obviously cities, more resilient to disasters.
Can you talk about the latest report that came out of your office concerning migration and where people are moving?
Yes, well we did a report which was published at the end of 2011 on migration and climate change, and it came up with some results that are actually rather different from previous discussions of migration. Previous discussions of migration in the context of climate change were saying people were fleeing from areas because of the effect of climate change on sea level or storm surges and so on. But this report actually came out with something that is rather more subtle. It said that a lot of migration is actually within countries, not just international, but that migration, both international and national, is taking people into areas of increasing vulnerability, in particular moving from inland in countries to coastal cities, but not just that. So there's one group of migrants who we have to think about who are actually migrating into areas where there's increasing vulnerability, and obviously cities are one of those. The second one is that there are groups of migrants who do not have, groups of individuals, sorry, not migrants, who don't have sufficient resources to migrate. To migrate, you need some resources. Now, these people are essentially trapped. They're trapped in areas of real vulnerability, and we need to be thinking about special interventions to actually assist these people. And they're trapped by a mixture of things. Sometimes they're trapped by conflict, and that is very difficult to address, but sometimes they're actually trapped by the fact that the immediate environment is extremely difficult. So we need to think about interventions that will actually help not just the one group of migrants who have problems in vulnerable areas, but these other two groups as well.
And what are your hopes for the next 40 years?
Well, the next 40 years are going to be very tough. I think the first thing to say is that let me just focus not on 40 years, but the next 15. The next 15 years are really problematic. We'll have 1 billion more people on the planet. Many of those people will be living in cities that are actually vulnerable, and that climate change will be happening because irrespective of the international community's intervention in reducing greenhouse gas emissions, you're going to see climate change happening. The gases that are in the upper atmosphere at the moment will determine climate change for the next 25 years, and that will be a multiplier of the problems we'll see. So the next 15 years we really should focus on, and of course we need to focus longer onto the next 20 and 30 or 40 years, but I'm an optimist. I hope with the interventions, science and technology, with political will enable us to actually address these important problems.